Mid-20th century America unfolds. A nation buoyed by post-war prosperity, yet shadowed by Cold War anxieties. The same society that celebrates scientific triumphs, the dawning space race, technological abundance, lives beneath the existential tension of nuclear confrontation. In this charged atmosphere, the philosophy of science stands at a crossroads. Logical positivism still shapes academia, but its confidence in steady cumulative progress begins to tremble under the pressure of mechanism, civil unrest, and the widening fracture of the Vietnam era. Into this setting steps Thomas Kuhn, born in 1922 in Cincinnati to a Jewish family. He trained at Harvard as a physicist during the war, only to pivot decisively toward the history and philosophy of science. Mentors such as Alexander Coyle and James Conant encouraged him to look beyond the equations to the cultural and historical patterns that guide scientific thought. His teaching years at Berkeley and Princeton crystallized these explorations. In 1962, Kuhn published The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, a text that sends shockwaves through the academy. As the 1960s counterculture challenges authority and convention, Kuhn's insistence that scientific development occurs through radical paradigm shifts, not steady accumulation, resonates deeply. His language of crisis, rupture, and conceptual transformation echoes the cultural upheavals of the decade. What had seemed secure, knowledge, truth, scientific mastery, suddenly appears contingent, embedded in history, even vulnerable. Kuhn's legacy stretches far beyond physics. Feminist theory, sociology, and postmodern thought seize upon his idea of incommensurability. The sense that distinct paradigms speak different conceptual languages, resisting translation. Works such as Steve Fuller's Thomas Kuhn, A Philosophical History for Our Times, illuminate how Kuhn democratized science by unveiling its social construction. He passed in 1996, leaving a conceptual vocabulary that continues shaping public discourse in a global age where universal truth is continually questioned. From the vintage of I.O. in our ontology, Kuhn's era appears as a period of accumulated asymmetry, scientific paradigms increasingly strained by anomalies. Crisis builds outward pressure, and symmetry eventually returns through a new inner coherence, a realignment of meaning and method. Kuhn's paradigm shifts mirror inner entanglement dynamics, entanglement of old and new frameworks, oscillation between tension and resolution, and the emergence of a novel conceptual order. Thomas Kuhn's philosophy, laid out most famously in The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, radically transformed how we understand the history and practice of science. He utterly rejected the traditional view of science as a steady, cumulative march toward truth. Instead, Kuhn argued for a history defined by discontinuous shifts, sudden, dramatic upheavals that redefine the very foundations of knowledge. At the heart of Kuhn's framework is the paradigm. A paradigm is far more than just a single theory. It is a shared framework, a constellation of fundamental assumptions, accepted methods, common language, and exemplary problem solutions that guides an entire scientific community. A paradigm acts like a pair of specialized eyeglasses, Kuhn suggests. It shapes what scientists can see, where they look, and crucially, what they choose to ignore. For centuries, Ptolemaic astronomy served as a dominant paradigm. It was a geocentric model. Earth was the center that successfully organized and explained the complex looping motions of the planets. This paradigm was productive because it told astronomers how to practice science, defining the problems they should solve and the tools they should use. Once a community adopts a paradigm, it enters a phase Kuhn calls normal science. This is the bulk of scientific work, characterized by rigorous but non-revolutionary activity. Normal science is essentially puzzle solving, Kuhn explains. Scientists operating within this phase are dedicated to refining the existing theory, collecting data to fit the framework, and assuming the paradigm's fundamental validity. They are not trying to discover new types of phenomena. They are trying to complete the picture. Like filling in a massive jigsaw puzzle, it is incredibly productive. However, this commitment means that when inconsistencies or strange results, anomalies appear, they are often suppressed, minimized, or explained away as errors in measurement rather than flaws in the foundational theory itself. The classic example is the accumulation of anomalies in Newtonian physics. As astronomical observation became more precise, minor inconsistencies like the observed precession of Mercury's orbit began to stubbornly defy Newton's laws. For a time, scientists could tolerate such problems, but as they accumulated, the framework began to strain. When the cumulative weight of anomalies becomes too great, and when attempts to resolve them within the existing rules fail spectacularly, the scientific community enters a stage of crisis. The core assumptions of the paradigm are publicly questioned. Foundational disagreements erupt, and the commitment that holds community together begins to fracture. The crisis is resolved only through a scientific revolution, a rapid, non-cumulative paradigm shift. A new framework, like Einstein's theory of relativity, replacing Newtonian physics, emerges, offering a fundamentally different way to look at the world and successfully solve the most pressing anomalies. These shifts are not solely matters of logic or deductive proof. They are often described as Gestalt shifts or sudden conversions, where the scientist suddenly sees the same data in an entirely new light. Incommensurability and the social nature of science, crucially, the old and new paradigms are incommensurable. This term signifies that they literally speak different languages and define reality in fundamentally different ways, making them incomparable by any neutral objective standard. When the Copernican revolution shifted the cosmic center from the Earth to the Sun, it wasn't just a repositioning of celestial bodies. It redefined basic concepts like motion and force. A statement that is true within the Ptolemaic framework might be meaningless within the Copernican one. Kuhn's view is fundamentally holistic and social. Science is practiced by communities who share a deep communal commitment to a specific paradigm. Therefore, revolutions are not individual intellectual awakenings, but communal conversions, a sociological event driven by persuasion, problem-solving potential, and a generational transition of authority. This led to a central tension. Does the holistic view render science irrational? Kuhn clarified that the shift is not arbitrary. Scientists convert to the new paradigm because it offers superior problem-solving power and a promise promise of greater future potential. While there is no purely logical metric to decide between two incommensurable frameworks, the movement from a less effective framework to a more effective one constitutes genuine progress. Kuhn ultimately portrays science as an evolutionary process. Pages of normal science build stability, while revolutions act as necessary adaptations to solve persistent problems. This perspective successfully unifies the history and philosophy of science by demonstrating that the logic of discovery is inseparable from the sociology of the scientific community itself. Inner ontology posits inner instincts, IOIs, as primordial in complex values entanglement of inner coherence and outer differentiation. Inner entanglement generates asymmetries, accumulated for change, recurrent symmetry for balance in cyclic generativity. Emergence hierarchies layer from quanta to consciousness, soft for patterns, hard for self-reference. Social scale invariant IO unifies physical to social in participatory rhythm. Kuhn's vision of paradigm aligns with recurrent symmetry. In periods of normal science, a community gathers around an inner coherence, shared methods, assumptions, and exemplars that draw diverse observations into a unifying structure. As anomalies accumulate, outward tension grows. These asymmetries do not merely challenge details. They reveal deeper directional dissonance between the paradigm and the world it seeks to comprehend. A crisis emerges. Scientific revolutions unfold as resolution. The field sways, recognizes, and settles into a renewed inner harmony. This echoes inner entanglement dynamics. Entanglements reconfiguring their directional balance. Here, incommensurability becomes especially vivid in inner ontology terms. Distinct paradigms rest over different IOE architectures, such that what counts as inner coherence in one framework may be outward deviation in another. The boundary between them is not merely linguistic or methodological. It reflects different entanglement topologies. Thus, two paradigms may share the same world, yet their IOE patterns constitute the different portals into that world. They are not mutually translatable because their inner directions, what they treat as origin world and what they treat as world, are arranged differently. In this sense, incommensurability mirrors IOIs at the categorical layer. Each paradigm emerges as a distinct entanglement. Comparison requires ascent to a higher mediating layer, where the deeper directional presuppositions can be seen together. This does not imply arbitrariness. Rather, it expresses the directional relativity of emergence. Kuhn's insight resonates in the quantum shifts from classical mechanics. Old certainties concentrated inward. New evidence pressed outward. The resultant shift, quantum mechanics, became a fresh inward field of coherence, not by perfecting the old frame, but by realigning the directional balance of the scientific mind. Critics of Kuhn, open charging relativism, are softened when seen through IO. Progress is not arbitrary revolt. It is cyclical generativity. Accumulated asymmetry meets reorganizing symmetry, producing new ground. IO enhances Kuhn. Paradigms as symmetry states, anomalies as asymmetry accumulation, shifts as emergent layers. Kuhn's history infuses IO with social dynamics, science as participatory entanglement. Conversely, Kuhn adds evolutionary depth, incommensurability as rhythmic adjustment, unifying epistemology and ontology. This synthesis reshapes the meaning of science. Paradigm shifts emerge as balance operations, directional reorganizations that allow inquiry to adapt. In rapidly changing domains such as artificial intelligence, these shifts unfold as successive entanglements. Each framework gathers inward coherence, then meets outward challenges from data, context, and interpretation, prompting new configurations. In society, cultural revolutions reveal the same rhythm. Communities enter phases of shared inward alignment. Tensions rise when outward realities diverge from inherited norms. When this accumulated asymmetry crosses a threshold, participatory transformation surges. Dogmatism loosens. New entanglements arise. For knowledge, incommensurability becomes anticipation, an early signal that new fields are forming. Disciplines converge, merge, reform. Recursive structures build across their edges. This is increasingly visible in interdisciplinary fusions, where conceptual boundaries bend to accommodate emergent synthesis. Drawing Kuhn into the deeper currents of inner ontology reveals existence as a paradigm rhythm. Normal science sets into symmetry, an inward page of shared commitment. Revolutions surface when outward tensions accumulate, leading to realignment that restore coherence at a refined level. Knowledge unfolds not as linear ascent, but as an emergent web of directional fields. Kuhn keeps historical insight. I oppose the directional primitives that explain why such rhythms arise at all. Together, they elevate the philosophy of science into a cosmic framework, from paradigm to recursion, from local revision to universal pattern. Life moves as a relational evolution, cyclically responsive, ever advancing through concentrated tension and collective recentering. This closing gesture invites us to dwell in generative inquiry, to examine the frames we inhabit, to gather insight without fear of disruption, and to participate in the co-shifting fabric of the cosmos.